Hi everyone, and welcome to this video. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to use Tailwind CSS. So you'll be able to make a basic web page after watching this video. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to click on File and New File. So right here, we are going to make an HTML file. So I'll call it tailwind.html. You can name it anything you want, and I'm going to save it here. So I just clicked on create, and you see I have a tailwind.html file. So let me close this group, and I have this tailwind.html open. So I'm going to click on the previewer, and now what we are going to do is we are going to press shift number 1 to add this HTML boilerplate, and right here we are going to change the title to Tailwind. And right here, let's add an H1 element, and this will say spicy little bite. Okay, so now we have that there. And right here, what we are going to do is that we are going to use Tailwind CDN. So what we are going to do now is we are going to type in script to add the script here. And right here, we are going to add source. And inside of the quotations, what we are going to type in is, so https cdn dot tailwindcss.com. And that's pretty much it. And now we should have this Tailwind style attached to our HTML file. So now I'm going to refresh it. You see now, if you refresh the page, you see that it has a different H1 size. So now our CDN is ready, and we can start styling this basic H1. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to add classes. So we always say class equals to two quotations. Inside of these quotations, what we can do is that we can use some Tailwind. So we are going to type in, for example, BG to change the background color, then dash, and right here I can say orange, and then dash for the shade. So now I can go from 100. You see now, if you add BG-orange-100, is going to add this shade, but if you change this to 900, it will add the dark shade. So you can go from 100 up to 950. So you can go up to 950, but you cannot type in 1000. So 1000 is incorrect. So you can go between 100, or if you type in 10, it will not work. But you can go from 100 up to 950. So 950 is the darkest, and 100 is the lightest. So now I'm going to change this to 150. So 950, which is the darkest. And right here, let's say that we want to change the text color. So I can type in text-white. So now you see the text is white. Next, we are going to center the text. So I can say text-center. So you see, when you add this, class is going to add this center text. Now, if you want to move the text to the right, you can say text-right. So text-right, and you'll notice that your text will be aligned to the right. Now, if you want to make this font bold, you can type in font-bold, and it will make it bolder. So now that's for that one, to make a font bold. You can apply this to a paragraph or an H1 element. So you can apply this font-bold to any text element. Now let's say that we want to recenter the text. So I'm going to change this to text-center, and my text is back to center. And right here, what we are going to do is we are going to make this larger. So if you want to make this text larger, you can type in text dash and then a number, for example, 2x large, and now you'll see that it's going to be 2x large. So now it's larger. But now you can change this to 5 or 7x large. You can go up to 9. I don't think you can go up to 10. So you cannot type in 10XL. You'll be able to go between 1XL all the way to 9XL. So I'll change this to 3XL for now. And if you want to add some padding around it, type in P-3. It will add some padding all around this H1 element. Or I can change it to 7 to add more padding around it. However, if you want to add padding only to the top or the bottom, you say P-Y. So Y will only add padding to the top and the bottom. But if you type in PX, it will add the padding to the horizontal axis. All right, so X and Y. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to keep PY7 here. And this is what we have so far. What we are going to do is that we are going to include all of this H1 inside of a div. So let me just make a div here. So inside of this div, I'm going to move the end tag, and I'm going to enclose all of my code inside of my div. So I have this basic H1 here. I have placed it inside of this div. So we are going to style this div. So I'm going to say class, and now I can add some classes to this div. So I'm going to say bg-black to change the background to black basically. And I'm going to say container. So I'm going to make it a container. And mx-auto will center it for us basically. So now let me add a paragraph here underneath it. And let's add some text to it. So you see we have added some text here, but you see the background of my div is bg-black. So now it's a good idea to change the color of this text to a different color. So I'm going to add a class here. So I'm going to say text-blue-300 to add this nice blue shade. And let's add some padding around it. So P-2. So I have some padding around this paragraph. So now I'm going to simply just recreate this paragraph. So let me click on view and word wrap so we'll see the code better. Okay, so this is the paragraph. I'm going to copy this paragraph and paste it right below it. So I'll have two paragraphs. So you see I have two paragraphs, but let me change the text of the second paragraph to a different shade. So I'm going to change this one to white, text-white. And you, by the way, when you type in text-white or text-black, you don't need to add the shade. So I'm going to only keep text-white here. So you see now we have a white text here and a blue text here. All right, but you see this one is blue. The first one is blue. That's why I'm using text-blue-300. Okay, now let's add an image. So I'm going to add an image right below the H1. So you see where the H1 is. So this is the H1 element, and I'm going right below it. I'm going to add an image here. So image source. I have an image called spicy.png, and I have that image here. And now I can use size to add some width and height to this specific image. So I'm going to use a class here. So class always. So you say size and then dash followed by a number. So I'm going to make it 40. So 40. All right. So I have that image there. And let's center that image So to center an image, you type in mx-auto. So you add this class. So mx-auto. So you see now we have an image that is centered. So now this is what it looks like on a small screen, and this is what it looks like on a huge screen. Now let's add a button at the very end. So we are still inside of the div, but underneath this paragraph, we are going to add a button that says order now. So I have a button there, but you see you cannot see it. So I'm going to add a class to it. So I'm going to change the color. So I'm going to say text dash blue dash 300. But with the background, so the background is dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change background color of the button. So I'm going to type in bg dash red dash 3 or 400. You see now it has changed it. So let me make it 900 now. So you see it has added that specific color there. But let me change it to orange. So bg dash orange dash 700. However, over this button, you see nothing happens. So let's say that we want to do something when we hover it. So I'm going to say hover, just like that, colon. So when we hover it, we are going to say bg dash red dash 700. So you see now when we hover it, it changes the color to red. So let's move it a little bit to the right. So to do that, I can type in margin x, all right? So mx dash 2 or 3. So it's up to you how much you want to push that button. So I'm going to keep it mx dash 3 to move it from the left to the right. And right here, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add some padding around it. So I'm going to give more space to the text. So I'm going to say p dash 3. Now let's make the button a little bit rounded. So I can type in rounded, basically. So if you want to add rounded, you see that it's going to add some rounded edges around it. So now this is what it looks on a huge screen. And this is what it looks on a small screen. So on a small screen, we like it to be like this, to have two paragraphs that are stacked. But on a huge screen, let's say that we want this paragraph to be aligned to the left and this one to be aligned to the right. So to do that, we need to use some breakpoints. And before we start doing that, I'm going to place my two paragraphs. So this is the first paragraph and this is the second one, all right? So I'm going to right click here and cut them. So now I'm going to type in div. All right, I'm going to add a div here and I'm going to paste this there. So I have these two paragraphs. So these two paragraphs inside of this div. Now we can add some class to this div to accomplish what we want. So basically, can change this to a grid. So when you type in grid, this will become a grid, just like as if you were using CSS grid. So on a small screen, you can say grid dash calls for columns dash 1. So this means just keep it 1 on a small screen. And on medium sized screens, we can type in MD colon and let's change the grid columns to 2. All right, so now what this means is that on a small screen become 1, so they'll be stacked, and on a medium sized screen become 2 paragraphs. And now you see on a small screen we have 2 paragraphs that are stacked, and if we make it larger, at some point they should be 2 columns. And now let's view this on a browser. So I'm going to copy this. So you see on your screen, it's going to look like this. So there are 2 paragraphs that are sitting next to each other. But if you view it on a small device, such as a phone, it's gonna look like this. All right, everyone. So I hope that this video was helpful, and I hope that you have learned something new. I will see you all in the next videos. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'm out.